Hey guys, welcome back to the Seven Figure Seller Summit. Today we have a special guest, Peter Chiang, joining us from Shanghai. How's it going, Peter?
Hi, Gary. Good to see you.
Yes, great to see you. So I wanted to introduce Peter as he is a very successful full-time Amazon seller. He's based in Shanghai and he's been living in Shanghai for more than 10 years. And he's been selling on Amazon since 2017. So Peter has a very unique perspective as a seller based in China. But he was born in the US and he grew up in Australia. So that's why he has a very unique accent. So I wanted to also welcome Peter because since I am no longer living in Shanghai, Peter and we actually met up last August, and he is helping organize and manage the Shanghai Amazon Seller Meetup. So that's a monthly ongoing meetup event the last Thursday every month in Shanghai. So welcome again, Peter. It's great to have you today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes. Okay. So Peter, as we're getting started, can you share a little bit more about your Amazon business? Like what product category are you in? And just so we have a better idea of, what kind of business you have so we can learn from this.
Sure. So I started in 2017 and I went full-time in 2019. I'm in sports and outdoors category, and my business is focused mainly on sports accessories. So something we can talk about more later. It's very lucky that I picked this because now social media is an important part of the business. I didn't think of that at the time when I was starting, but because of that now, it's helped a lot with the development and more importantly, the margins.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, I do want to dig a little deeper into that because we had mentioned a little bit about this in our physical like meetup event in August. So I think he has some cool stuff that you can share in just a few minutes. So Peter, can you tell us like how did you get started on Amazon? I mean, 2017 was quite early. Like were you working a corporate job and you stumbled upon this? And love to learn a little bit more about your story.
Yeah, I've been working before Amazon. I was working corporate for many years, and one of my buddies in Shanghai kept telling me about this business he was running on Amazon, and I didn't really pay much attention because, like a lot of people, first Amazon was just books, and then you could buy different things, and I didn't really understand what he was doing. And then one day he came up to me and he said, "Oh, I made $3,000 in sales today." I was like, "Well, that's quite a lot of money." Like he wasn't doing it full time; he was just doing it as a hobby or side hustle. So I was asking him more and more about it, and it sounded interesting. So I thought I'd give it a go, and that's how it got started.
Cool. And what does a typical day look like for you? I mean, you're a full-time seller. Like, can you share more?
Sure. So so as we're going to talk about later, social media is a very important part of the business, and I run the social media myself because I feel it's for a lot of the audience, it's important for them. They feel they're connected to the owner of the business or the owner of the brand, I should say. So the first things I do is I go through social media and I reply to any messages, check what's happening. Then for the rest of the day, basically just housekeeping, just keeping up with everything else that you do in a business, the logistics, the financials, marketing, all those things, all the good stuff.
And which marketplaces, like which countries are you selling on, like US or Europe?
So like many people, US is the biggest market. And I think it was in my first or just beginning of the second year. And then I started in Europe. And I did the Pan-European program. So if people don't know what that is, that's the biggest countries in Europe, which would be UK, Germany, France, Italy, and Spain. So we won't go into the details, but basically it's very easy logistically when you're running that. So they're my main countries. And then there's, orders, a few here and there in the other countries, but they're minimal.
I see. Okay. So now let's talk a little bit about your social media strategy. Like tell us what's working right now. And I know that this is also category specific as well. So I'd love to hear more about this.
Yeah. So as we were talking before, maybe two years ago or 3 years ago, the same as many other people were having problem with the PPC costs. They were just going up and up and up. So my my revenue was basically pretty solid, stable, but the margins kept going down, and I could see this was a trend that eventually would probably kill the business. And it was at that time I started focusing more on social media, and thanks to that, I've been able to improve the margins a lot, even though the revenue has gone down now, but the overall profits have gone up quite a lot. And that's, as everyone knows, when you have brand recognition, you can have, you can sell at a higher price because people aren't just looking at the price point; they're looking also at, at the branding. So, yeah, that was a big turning point for the business.
Okay. Can you like give some examples, like what's working in social media for you?
Yeah, so I can give a basic overview, and then if anyone comes to the meetups, I can talk in more detail so we don't bore people here. But so one of the challenges in social media is content. It's really hard always to think of new things because you've always got to constantly be posting. So mine social media developed to a point where it was completely user-generated content. So people would be using the accessories, the sporting accessories, and they would send me the photos and the videos. So I didn't have to think about how, what I had to invent for the next post. So basically, my whole page on Instagram is just people using the product, which is great social proof when anyone looks at it.
Cool. Do you do something to incentivize them, or I don't mean like black hat, but like why do people do that?
Yeah, so because they're sporting accessories, they love to post just themselves on their own page when they're doing it. They like to show people what they're doing. They're very physical. These people are all very active with their exercises and their daily lives. So they love showing it. So I don't really have to incentivize it, but yeah, they're just passionate about using these products and any other products that they have in their daily exercise routines and anything. So it's lucky. Like I said, if I pick something, I don't know, like office supplies or something like that, people aren't passionate about using office supplies. You can't. It's very difficult to build a social media strategy around that. So I was extremely lucky that my products are social media friendly, let's say.
Interesting. And I mean, are you even like, are you doing anything like with an insert card, like, or, back of the package, anything like a QR code? Like,
Yeah, well,
yeah.
The whole social media focus at the moment is Instagram. So I do have an Insta card. Basically, it's just one of those, if you have any problems, contact us sort of thing. Nothing about reviews. And then I just put the Instagram handle on there as well. That's it. So it's up to people if they want to contact us or follow us. But generally, anyone who's active will follow. Will have a look and contact us.
I see. Okay. Excellent. And then my other question that I just thought of is, obviously you've been living in China for over a decade. As a seller, I think you would have some advantages and maybe some disadvantages. I'm curious, can you share more about that?
Sure. I think one of the biggest advantages if you're sourcing from China is that you're close to the factories. I think anyone who's been to China to see their factories, they know how much of an advantage it is when they actually go to the factory as opposed to just communicating by email or WeChat or whatever. And if you're trying to sort out the details of a product, you're going back and forth, and it can take days or weeks. And obviously when you're in the factory, you can just get it knocked out within a few hours. So that's a huge advantage. If there's ever any problems, I could be there. If it's really urgent, you can be there within a day or the next day. So I think the supply side is the main advantage.
I see. Do you go to trade shows in China?
Yes, but they're not hugely useful for the business. I go often like to the Canton Fair. I'm going mainly to see Chris Davies with his FBA for You event. So for the meetups there to talk to other sellers. But yeah, there's lots of trade shows around, and if I'm in the area, I'll go and have a look. But it's not hugely important. No.
Okay, excellent. And any disadvantages living in China for being a seller?
Yeah, I think I don't know, mainly compared to if you're in the US, you can easily get your competitors' products. You can order them and see them. But yeah, like lifestyle wise, we know what overseas people want. So I don't feel there's a huge disadvantage, really.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. And all right, as the saying goes, a smart person learns from their mistakes. A wise person learns from the mistakes of others. Can you share a mistake you made along the journey and what you learned from it?
Yeah. So when I was first starting, I was lucky enough to meet a couple of people who were very big in the industry. I won't say who they are. They're very nice people, but they gave me some advice, which I took. And as I was new, I didn't even think about whether I should do it. I didn't think about the advantages and disadvantages. So they said you should just get the Starbucks Shanghai mug and sell it on Amazon because everyone wants to buy it. It's a hard Some Americans like to collect different items from around the world, and if they can't travel to China, so I just bought a stack of these Shanghai Starbucks mugs, and I sold them on Amazon, and my listing was actually better than Starbucks' actual listing because they weren't really pushing it, but I had huge problems with that. Like, firstly, no one wanted to buy it. Secondly, proof of purchase was a huge issue, even though I was trying to show the receipts and everything, but they wouldn't accept it. And I don't think I got suspended, but I did have a lot of problems with that. So now, with my experience that I have now, I would have thought about it. I would have looked into it more and been more careful. But I think just the moral of that story is basically, I think just be careful when you hear things, when people give you advice, maybe, think about it, check on it, and they just act without thinking.
Yeah, that's good advice. So were you able to sell out of those mugs?
Yeah, I think I did, and I broke even basically. But it was more the hassle and the stress that it caused. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Excellent. All right. Any other advice for sellers? As we're entering 2024, and with the environment, the economy the way it is.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything new to offer. You hear a lot of people saying, they've been saying for years, like, focus more on the brand than just picking random products and selling. I think everyone knows that's the way forward. So if you can get a brand going, you've got to get external traffic. I think that's the way to go. If you're just 100% relying on PPC, that's a very hard game to play because the costs are going up, more people always come in. So get the brand, get external traffic, social media. I think that's a good thing to do if you can do that.
Excellent. Going back to your product, Peter, how did you build, or how did you choose the product when you first started? Like, did you choose it with a brand in mind, or, what did that look like? Yeah.
In 2017, people weren't really thinking of brand so much. It was, I did what everyone else was doing at that time. I just looked on Jungle Scout, which products seemed to have a good opportunity. Just comparing, and I picked some products. And as I said, I was so lucky that I happened to pick these sporting products, because if it had been something else, there's no way. I think probably the business would have died by now. So very lucky how it all went.
Yeah, well, I think luck has part of the thing to do with it, because I was starting to sell around the same time, and I used Jungle Scout, and we were probably looking at the same products, but most all of my products fizzled out. I mean, whether it was me or it was competition, but the fact that you were able to survive and thrive, from 17 to now, I think that goes to show, you must be doing something right. You can't just say that was luck. But
it wasn't 100% luck, but I think to be successful in this business and any business, it's a combination of luck and doing the right thing. So at least the luck side, I was there. If I did the luck, even with hard work, I don't think the business would survive.
For sure. Okay. And Peter, also, I wanted to give you a shout out as well, because, obviously I'm not in Shanghai. I haven't been in Shanghai since the pandemic for various reasons. And we had held a seller meetup group in August. And then, I was talking to Peter, and we talked a little bit afterwards, and then he very generously offered to help lead the group since I'm no longer based there. So thank you again for helping lead that. And can you share what can sellers expect when they attend the Shanghai Amazon Seller Meetup group, and when is it?
So we try to make it regular. So we've picked the last Thursday of each month. If you're interested, obviously Gary will have the details of that. And it's just like any meetup. It's good to chat with people in the industry, because on a daily basis, maybe you don't have contact with a lot of us working remotely. So yeah, you can come and have a good talk with people in the industry, and then I'll try and bring in people sometimes that have experience. So far we've had a mix of newish and experienced sellers. So the new sellers often like to ask questions, so I'm happy to answer, anything about marketing or PPC. Any of us that have been doing this for a few years obviously know quite a lot. So yeah, it's just a good opportunity to get together and talk shop.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean, also the fact that you can meet sellers, like Peter, that have been very firmly established in China, to get a different perspective, and it could be valuable even if you're just passing through, because obviously when there's like Canton Fair, there's like various events happening around the same time. Our friend Chris Davey runs the very big FBA for you seller meetup down south in Guangzhou, but I do know some people are sourcing at factories in the Zhejiang and the Jiangsu region, close to Shanghai, and a lot of people are passing through Shanghai. So just to keep your eye on the calendar, it might be good to meet up, as you're passing through, to talk to more sellers. So thank you for that. All right. So before we run, Peter, what is the best way to connect with you if people want to learn more?
Yeah, like we said, I'm not selling any services or anything. I'm just happy to connect with people, especially if they're in Shanghai. So WeChat or email are the easiest ways to get in contact with me. You can put them. Gary will show those details.
Okay, so we'll link it up below in the video. All right. So thank you, Peter. And if we were to kind of distill everything we talked about today, I'm all about the 80-20 rule. What would be the number one recommendation that you'd like to leave our community with today?
Okay, just if it's 80-20, focus on the things that count. How's that?
All right. Anything like more specific?
That's really generic. Yeah, like I said, if it's related to Amazon specifically or e-commerce, then
yeah.
I would just reinforce what I said before. If you're the type of person who's just looking for opportunities, this product is good, it's a good price, there's a good margin at the moment, that's today. There's going to be thousands of sellers seeing the same thing. So if you're just always looking for product opportunities, that's not the way forward. If you want a long-term business, you have to build a brand. There's no other way now these days.
All right, there you go. You definitely have to build a brand. So thank you again, Peter. And if you guys do meet up with Peter, make sure to buy him a beer when you see him in Shanghai. And he's filled with a lot of great knowledge and he's been very generous to share. So definitely say hello to him when you do meet him in Shanghai. All right. So thanks again, Peter. Thanks everybody. And we will see you at the next session. Bye everybody.
Bye.